Good afternoon. From the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, welcome to the 2020 Burroughs Wellcome Fund North Carolina Teacher of the Year naming ceremony. I'm Sonia Brown, Education Program Director, and I lead the Recognition and Advancement section, which is part of the unit known as District and Regional Support. I am delighted to be your host today. Today's ceremony is like none other. We started the planning process for this special day back when these finalists were just competing in their districts. They made it through that process, and they came out winners in their respective regions. When we first met them back in January for their state interviews, I had no idea that we would have to postpone this ceremony 2 times before we could finally get to this day. COVID-19 happened and started pumping the brakes on our planning and subsequently prevented family, friends, and colleagues from attending a full in-house ceremony. We went from planning to have 140 attendees to 65 attendees because we thought we could come out of phase 2. Well, we didn't. And now we're down to having a group of 25 on the outside. What a roller coaster ride it was. But we were determined to offer the finalists the same pomp and circumstance ceremony that was supposed to occur back in April. This ceremony is being live streamed via YouTube, so family, friends, and colleagues can watch these finalists being celebrated today for their outstanding achievement as a teacher in North Carolina. Many of the participants on the program could not be here with us physically because of our numbers, but we have made it possible for these finalists to be able to hear from them virtually as we move through the program. Our goal today is to not only name North Carolina's 51st Teacher of the Year, but to also establish another branch in the network of advocacy that happens in North Carolina for teachers and the teaching profession. Seated in front of me are the 9 finalists that form the 2020 Burroughs Wellcome Fund North Carolina Teacher of the Year cohort. Individually, they are great, but together, they have proven to be superheroes. Please give the North Carolina Teacher of the Year cohort a hand. At this time, I'm delighted to bring up the Director of District and Regional Support, Dr. Cynthia Martin, as she would like to formally bring you greetings and welcome you to this ceremony.
Good afternoon. It is such a pleasure to be with you today to celebrate and recognize our distinguished Teachers of the Year. The Regional Education Facilitators, also known as the REFs, led by Dr. Sonia Brown, reviewed 140 district and charter applications and portfolios, planned interviews, and scheduled site visits in order to get us to this amazing event today. Jeffrey, Kathy, Rhonda, Tina, Laura, Monica, Carol, and Amy, also known as the refs, they could not all be here with us today, but I want to acknowledge the great service they provide to the program and to the department. Dr. Brown, this event is a testament to district and regional support's commitment to celebrating educators. Thank you for your leadership. If you thumb through your program, you will see the names of all the teachers in the state that participated in our process. Narrowing the field from the local to district to regional level is a very complex task. Selecting one person to represent the entire state is an even more complex task. I would like to recognize the 4 individuals who had to do just that. Our state selection committee. While they could not be here with us today, we want to thank them for their service. Ms. Patricia Faust, retired Assistant Superintendent of Randolph County Schools. Dr. Rebecca Garland, retired Deputy State Superintendent from the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. Henry Pankey, authored and retired principal from Durham Public Schools. And Bill Miller, retired superintendent from Polk County Schools. To our Teacher of the Year finalists, we have worked to develop a network to support teachers. Each of you will play a critical role in supporting the approximately 100,000 teachers in our state. The Teacher of the Year program is no longer just about crowning a winner, but creating a well-connected communication loop that uplifts the profession. You are building on a legacy. Each year, the TOY is expected to advance the program, like Lisa Godwin did in 2017 when advocating for the whole child, like Freebird McKinney did in 2018 in strengthening relationships with key constituents, like Mariah Morris in 2019 in leading teachers through this unprecedented time of COVID-19 and creating volumes of resources to help support them. Today, we honor them. Finally, I would like to welcome and thank all of the supportive principals, superintendents, families, and school families hopefully logging in today. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Alan Duncan, the co-chairman of the State Board of Education, to bring to you greetings on behalf of the State Board.
Good afternoon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We cannot express our thanks enough to the great work our educators do. We're extraordinarily appreciative of you, and we count our blessings for what you do for our children every day. You don't always feel as appreciated as you should, but we want you to, and you are appreciated by lots of people, a whole lot, and so I want you to feel the love that so many people have for the educators in North Carolina. We so much appreciate the path you've chosen and the difference you're making. I frequently think back, and for me this is well over 50 years ago, and I can still name every teacher I had, 1st through 6th grade in elementary school. And I can still tell you about the impact every one of them had on my life, and it was not the same for each of them. But you are making an impactful difference in ways that you will not even begin to be able to measure until as you go forward and people come up to you constantly saying, you did this for my child, or you did this for me. The gifts you are setting out truly represent a legacy for a long, long time, and we are so grateful to you for the legacy that each of you are creating, a legacy of excellence. As we honor you today, I'm pleased to be here on behalf of the North Carolina State Board of Education to provide our greetings. I know every member of the State Board would agree that it has been our pleasure to work with 2019 North Carolina Teacher of the Year, Mariah Morris, as well as the 2018 North Carolina Teacher of the Year, Freebird McKinney, who have been advisors to our board. They've provided our board with invaluable insights and guidance from their own experience that has helped inform our discussions about education policy and practices. They help us not to screw it up. That's not in the script, but that's what they do. And I know you encourage them in their efforts in that regard. They're smart, they're committed, they're talented, they're energetic, and they're professionals, and they represent the highest caliber of North Carolina's teaching professionals. They're thoughtful, and importantly, they are candid. They don't hold back. We're incredibly fortunate and blessed to have them as advisors to the board, and they have truly made a difference. The board's vision is for every public school student, through access to equitable resources and rigor, that will graduate ready for post-secondary education and work, prepared to be globally engaged and productive citizens. That is an achievable goal. We should not just say it. We should, as a state, live it. One of our key goals is to achieve that vision focuses squarely on educational professionals in our classroom. Simply stated, we know that every student, every day, must have an excellent teacher. Teachers who are caring, and aren't we learning that right now with the social and emotional losses that our students are suffering from? Teachers who are innovative, and certainly we're learning that now too about how we're going to reach our students with innovation. Teachers who are leaders among their colleagues and in their schools. Teachers like you who are seated here today. And as I look at you, I also want to say I'm sorry that your families and colleagues cannot be here with you today, as they hopefully are watching live stream. But we are so proud of the people before us, and we are so thankful for the support of their colleagues and family. And so a shout out to each of you for all you've done to bring these people here before us. We recognize that this vision will not become reality without the nearly 100,000 public school teachers across North Carolina who work tirelessly and make countless sacrifices for the benefit of our students. The 9 teachers here who we're celebrating today represent the kind of teachers we'd all like for our own children. These 9 teachers hold their students to high expectations, but make sure that students have the support to reach each and every one of them. They take risks to improve teaching and learning. They love learning themselves, which their students cannot help but notice. To the finalists, you're role models for your students and your peers. Congratulations to each of you. This happens to be my favorite time during the ceremony because right now, every one of you feels like you may be the winner of Teacher of the Year for the state of North Carolina. And the reason I like this time is every one of you is a winner for the state of North Carolina. Every one of you. You cannot be praised enough. You just can't. So while only one educator today will earn the title of the 2020 Burroughs Wellcome Teacher of the Year, please know that the State Board of Education appreciates and applauds all of today's honorees, as well as all educators in North Carolina who work so hard to give students the knowledge, skills, and confidence to succeed. We can't wait to see what this cohort accomplishes. Thank you so much.
He follows directions well. There are so many well-wishers that wanted to be here today. They have sent their support in many ways. So next on our program, you will hear from Roy Cooper, the governor of North Carolina, and Dan Forrest, the lieutenant governor of North Carolina. Each year, they provide a message of inspiration to all of our finalists. Please watch these special videos from the governor and the lieutenant governor, followed by another inspirational moment from the District and Regional Support Assistant Director, Alessandro Montanari, who is also a member of this Teacher of the Year Ceremony Committee.
Hi, everybody. I'm Governor Roy Cooper. I'm excited to congratulate our 9 Regional Teachers of the Year. Today we find out who will be North Carolina's Teacher of the Year. I'm glad I didn't have to make that choice, as all of you would be fantastic. What an honor to be recognized by your peers who see you in action and who know what kind of impact you make in our schools. Today's winner will have some big shoes to fill. I want to thank 2019 Teacher of the Year, Mariah Morris, for your commitment, leadership, and service to our state. And thanks to Burroughs Wellcome Fund and the team at DPI who made this celebration possible. My mom was a teacher, and I know how much hard work and innovation goes into your jobs in the best of times. But you've been great even in the middle of a pandemic. So let's all lift up your hard work, your professionalism, your expertise, and your voices as we begin to tackle this new school year that'll be different in many ways. But with teachers like you, our students will get the best. Congratulations again, and thanks for all you do. Good luck.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lieutenant Governor Dan Forrest. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak to you today. This past school year was as unique as they come, and I want to thank you for all of the work you did to provide remote learning for your students. Today, though, is a celebration of all of your accomplishments and the culmination of years of hard work in recognizing the outstanding educator you are for North Carolina. We have here past Teachers of the Year, Principals of the Year, education professionals, public officials, and business and nonprofit leaders who help support our students and our teachers. Perhaps most importantly, we have our Teacher of the Year candidates. The finalists for the 2020 Burroughs Wellcome Fund Teacher of the Year have distinguished themselves as the very best that North Carolina has to offer. They put in tireless hours of planning and work. They've been classroom innovators, and they've delivered high-quality instruction to our students. We are honored to get to call them North Carolina educators. To today's candidates, regardless of who is ultimately chosen as Teacher of the Year, you should know that you are valued and appreciated, and that we thank you for your contributions to educating our youth. Your work is noticed. To the person who will be the 2020 North Carolina Teacher of the Year, you have big shoes to fill. I'm confident, however, that you will be successful and bring a fresh perspective to the decisions being made at the state level. Once again, my sincere thanks goes to the Burroughs Wellcome Fund and all of our generous sponsors who have made this day possible. God bless each of you, and enjoy this joyous occasion.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, by the way, Dr. Brown never told me I was coming after the governor and the lieutenant governor. This is a little nerve-wracking right now. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Alessandro Montaneri. I'm the Assistant Director of District and Regional Support. Just to give you a little story here, about a year and a half ago in 2018, when the 18-19 school year was starting, I was actually asked to give a keynote at a conference in South Carolina. And if you know anything that was happening at the beginning of the 18-19 school year, Hurricane Florence had just hit, and we had several school districts throughout the coast that were impacted by the hurricane. And I actually remember saying during that keynote address, talking about how our students and families were suffering down the coast because of all the damage, and the schools that were being shut down because of damage, and it was going to be the toughest beginning of school year ever. Yes, I clearly was not expecting 2020, right? I think more than any other year, this year has shown us tremendously that you matter, right? I mean, the teaching profession is so important. I mean, if you don't believe me, ask any parent that has had to do remote learning or distance learning the past 4 or 5 months. I have 2 little ones at home. You matter, okay? It's crazy to me because teachers matter each and every day. And you all 9 of you, have earned the label of irreplaceables. If you don't know what that means, there's a wonderful study by TNTP called The Irreplaceables, right? Each one of you is an irreplaceable teacher. Each one of you matters in the classroom. Each one of you matters for your schools. Each one of you matters for your community, for your districts, right? For your parents, right? Each and every one of you matters. So I ask you now more than ever, because of the fact that you all clearly shape lives, to keep on using that teacher voice that you all have. There's no better example of that than what Mariah Morris has done this past year. She is outstanding. Another applause for her, please. We need you to use your teacher voice to raise respect for the profession, and please talk about the inequities that exist, unfortunately, in our schools and our society, right? Again, teachers matter every single day. Just to give you a quick short story about myself, for those of you that don't know me, in 2003, I entered the classroom for the first time. It's been 18 years since that day, and I can tell you I was lateral entry. I entered an F high school in Miami-Dade Public Schools, and I barely knew what a lesson plan was. So I can share with you some highs and lows of my teaching career. But it's been 18 years since, and I wake up every single morning with the same passion, the same desire, every single day. And Dr. Martin, my director, knows it well. My passion is constantly, I want to reduce the variance that exists in quality education. Because it should not matter what zip code you're born in. Quality instruction is quality instruction, and every child deserves the same. So, one of my favorite quotes in life has always been by Jules Verne. His quote is, "Nothing in life is ever impossible. Improbable maybe, but not impossible," right? As you now enter this next stage, don't forget that. Please keep on aiming high. Please keep on trying to overcome the next obstacle and break that next brick wall, right? You are a voice. You're a voice for some exceptional teachers in each of your regions. Use that. Today is only a small step in that direction. It is an honor for all of us at DPI to be here with you. It truly is, and we thank you.
Our sponsors are tremendous partners who make this day possible. Their support to our program is invaluable. I would like to recognize their contributions. The Burroughs Wellcome Fund, our flagship sponsor, provides the financial service or support to enable us to hold this event and to recognize the state top classroom educators. We thank Burroughs Wellcome Fund for their gracious sponsorship, particularly at this gorgeous event. Go Global North Carolina is committed to empowering North Carolina leaders with the skills, understanding, connections, and knowledge to succeed in a global community, and awards the state winner with an endowment which includes the opportunity to travel and learn about education abroad. Lenovo is the world's #1 provider of educational technology and graciously joined us during the interviews back in January to give each of our regional winners a state-of-the-art mobile device and a few other goodies for their personal and professional use. North Carolina State Athletics, who are huge supporters of public education, will be providing our regional finalists with opportunities to be recognized and network with the Wolfpack this year. No Kid Hungry North Carolina is a Teacher of the Year sponsor as well. They could not be here with us today, but they have found a way to harness the passion of our Teacher of the Year cohorts to help craft a message that recognizes access to meals as an equity issue. The No Kid Hungry North Carolina campaign, an initiative of the national nonprofit Share Our Strength, was started by Governor Beverly Perdue in 2011 and became a program also at UNC Chapel Hill in 2014. The program works with the Department of Public Instruction, local school systems, and community partners to increase access to federally assisted meals for children who need them at school, after school, and in the summer months. Since March 15, when our schools closed due to COVID-19, the No Kid Hungry North Carolina team has been working vigorously to support the many ways that kids have been getting meals at home, in their neighborhoods, and at schools, and thanks to the dedication of hundreds of school nutrition staff and school and community leaders and volunteers. I am pleased to announce that No Kid Hungry North Carolina is awarding all 9 regional gift cards from Amazon for $250 each to be used however they like. Please know that this is their way to say thank you for all you do for children in our state. Flow Automotive LLC could not be with us today as well, but I would like to recognize the Winston-Salem dealership for donating a 1-year lease on a new Honda to our Teacher of the Year as they complete their second year of service to the state. The State Board of Education and the Department of Public Instruction also supports our program with financial incentives, a professional seminar at NCAT, participation at national and local conferences and events, and a full-time one-year ambassadorship for education as a North Carolina teacher on loan. Without their dedication, we could not have such a strong presence among educators across our great state. Please welcome some of our sponsors to the podium to introduce themselves and briefly share more about their organization's involvement in the Teacher of the Year program. We will start with Lou Muglia, President of the Burroughs Wellcome Fund, followed by the sponsors as listed in the program.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Dear colleagues and friends, I so very much appreciate being included in today's activities in the Teacher of the Year recognition. Together with my fellow BWF staff member and educational leader, Alfred Mays, I want to start with our very deep and sincere thanks for all of your efforts. They truly are recognized, valued, and prioritized by us. As you may know, I only recently became President and CEO of the Burroughs Wellcome Fund effective January 1st of this year. So a difficult transition period. But one of the great draws to me for this position is the unique and long-established relationship Burroughs Wellcome Fund has with the education community in the North Carolina public education system. Teachers, principals, superintendents-to-be, and superintendents themselves are important and essential voices in our mission as an organization. Thus, it is with great joy and appreciation we contribute to bestowing this Teacher of the Year recognition and recognizing all the finalists who are truly special and, as we heard, irreplaceable individuals. There's no endeavor more important in society than recognizing the excellence, supporting the efforts of, and providing the resources to our teachers to educate the next generation of scientists, artists, advocates, scholars, and leaders. And every child can turn into a leader, and that's what the goal of our organization is meant to foster. Each year, the Burroughs Wellcome Fund makes approximately $3 million in grant awards to support North Carolina public education. Most recently, Burroughs Wellcome Fund awarded 67 teachers from across the state with our Promoting Innovation in Science and Math grants to support professional development and the purchase of equipment and supplies. Over the next several months, STEM teachers are invited to submit applications for our Career Awards for Science and Math teachers, a grant award of $175,000 to be extended to 5 teachers, and one of our truly cherished programs. Alfred and I are honored to have the relationships with this community that we do. We look forward to working with the 2020 North Carolina Teacher of the Year and having the privilege of getting to know Mariah this past year and the team of finalists as a whole as they continue to have great impact on student outcomes and success. Thank you all, and congratulations to all of you here.
Great. Thank you, and hello, everyone. I'm Meredith Henderson, the Interim Executive Director of Go Global NC. I'd like to thank the team at the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction for their dedication to creating this exciting ceremony every year, whether virtually or in person, and for inviting Go Global NC to be part of it. And I'd also like to thank the Burroughs Wellcome Fund for their continued sponsorship of educational excellence. Our hardworking educators are near and dear to me, personally and professionally. And today I'm here to do something that is one of my favorite annual activities for many years. It's my privilege to announce that one of these exceptional educators, the one of whom is going to be named our next North Carolina Teacher of the Year, will receive an award to join Go Global NC's annual Global Teachers Professional Development Program. As many of you know, Go Global NC has been part of the University of North Carolina system since 1979. We design and manage several flagship programs that build the capacity of leaders across the state to help North Carolina to succeed in a global economy and interdependent world. Our policy leaders, our business and community leaders, and our education leaders. One of the ways that we serve our education leaders is through our Global Teachers Program, a program specifically designed to provide professional development to K-12 teachers from across North Carolina through an in-depth learning experience through the history, culture, and environment of other countries. The Global Teachers Program includes intensive domestic workshops before and after a 10 to 14-day international immersive learning experience abroad. This Global Teachers Award, an award is generously supported by the Carolyn Hunt Teacher Endowment, will allow our next North Carolina Teacher of the Year to join a network of more than 1,000 North Carolina teachers from all grade levels and all subject areas. Global teachers who have learned to use their new experiences to ignite an interest in global engagement and cooperation among their students and communities. The Carolyn Hunt Teacher Award was established in 2000 to honor North Carolina's former First Lady's commitment to education and to building relationships between North Carolina and the rest of the world. For those of you who have attended this ceremony before, you know I like to play a little game to test your knowledge of the world and to announce the country that our next North Carolina Teacher of the Year will travel to and study. But I want to mention something very important first. In these uncertain times, two things are sure. One, Go Global NC will always protect and prioritize the health and welfare of our program participants, our communities, and ourselves. International immersion will take place in the future, but only when it's advisable. And two, a global education and understanding of diverse cultures here at home and abroad has never been more important than it is today. So now let's test your knowledge of the world. The next North Carolina Teacher of the Year will travel with us to a place that is home to one of the largest waterfalls in the world, a place that is home to the world's largest man-made lake, a place where the most popular sports include soccer, rugby, and cricket, although soccer or football is by far the most popular, a place that is home to the largest elephant population on the continent, a place that is home to the shortest border between two countries, a place that has several capital cities, none of which we'll visit, although we will visit one of the largest cities in the region, and a place that is home to the big five of wildlife, that is, lions and leopards, rhinos and elephants, and the African buffalo. So by now you may have guessed that we're not studying just one country, but several. 4, in fact. We welcome the next North Carolina Teacher of the Year to join us for a journey to the southern region of Africa, where we will study in Johannesburg, South Africa, and in the Victoria Falls region of Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Zambia. We look forward to working with you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ilanka Mickey. I am Communications and Brand Strategy Director at Lenovo, a global technology company right here in the Triangle. And I've been with the company for almost 14 years, but this is my 3rd ceremony in a row because I'm so passionate and thankful and grateful to all these amazing teachers here. On behalf of Lenovo, I want to congratulate all the regional North Carolina teachers here today for their excellence. It truly is an honor for me to be here today in this special group, only 25 of us in this unusual setting this year. This has been, as many have said, an extremely challenging year for all the teachers across the country as distance learning took flight overnight. In light of the pandemic, teachers across North Carolina became technologists, heavily depending on their Lenovo laptops to do any type of work and support their students in their education curriculum. We know that many teachers were already tech savvy and taking advantage of new innovations from virtual reality solutions to device-based learning, but for all, this was a complete transformation of the education space overnight. At the same time, students had to adjust to the new way of learning, and that's if they had technology tools, if they had a computer at home, as well as internet connectivity. So this rapid transition from in-class to remote learning in our education system has highlighted the deep digital divide among some students across our state. Lenovo jumped in to help, and we jumped in and to help to close the digital divide with over 5,000 laptops donated to students across 13 school districts in North Carolina. 100, thank you. Thank you. 100 laptops donated to students at Wake Tech Community College, hundreds of laptops donated to the education nonprofits serving North Carolina, and over 1 million in education software across the United States. In addition, we heard from teachers like yourselves that your biggest concern was how to shift the curriculum to a remote learning environment and keep students interested and engaged. To assist with this transition, Lenovo, along with our partners at Microsoft and Google, created a new distance collaboration and learning toolkit that includes best practices, advice, and resources that teachers and school administrators can have. Overall, our company contributed over $7.5 million to the education space, and globally, Lenovo donated almost $13 million during this pandemic. We at Lenovo are honored to be able to provide computers for our North Carolina Teachers of the Year. You are the best of the best. And I know you have had an incredibly challenging year. I think, as everybody said, I think every parent realized how challenging a teacher's job is when we all had to teach from home. We truly appreciate you, and we salute you for what you do every single day. Congratulations again.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Samorka, and I'm honored to be here today to support the Teacher of the Year nominees on behalf of NC State Athletics. Congratulations to each and every one of you for your hard work and dedication that has brought you here today. As a husband of a hardworking Wake County public school science teacher, I've witnessed firsthand that being a teacher goes just beyond educating our kids. It takes a certain mindset and commitment to be here today. Whether that's volunteering your free time for school social events, being responsible and leading for department chairs and advisory positions, or the ability to adapt on the fly as we're pushed headfirst into a global pandemic. Equal amounts of energy and passion go into each day and help you shape the next generation of our community. For the fourth year in a row, NC State Athletics has had the privilege of being the sponsor for the Burroughs Wellcome Fund North Carolina Teacher of the Year ceremony. We're thrilled to be just a small part of this recognition here today and helping to honor all the nominees. In years past, we've hosted and recognized the nominees and award winners at NC State baseball games and football games, among other opportunities. It goes without saying, much has changed here over the past year. Attendance and recognition at our athletic events is still very much in question. However, NC State Athletics will continue to work with the Department of Public Instruction and seek out new and creative ways to properly recognize and honor all of you for your hard work and accomplishments in the coming months, just as you have found new and creative ways to educate our students as we've gone through this school year. Thank you very much for this opportunity to be here today, and congratulations to everyone who is nominated. We look forward to recognizing your achievements and sincerely hope that we can welcome you back to campus here in the coming months. Best of luck as we start the fall school year, and go Pack. Thank you.
Let's give another hand for our sponsors. Thank you, sponsors. It is a great pleasure for me to introduce to you the 2019 Burroughs Wellcome Fund North Carolina Teacher of the Year, Mariah Morris. Mariah was a second grade teacher at West Pine Elementary School in Pinehurst at the time of her announcement. Soon after her announcement, she hit the ground running. She has been a keynote speaker at various conferences, facilitated workshops for school districts, participated in interviews with local, state, and national media outlets and publications. I would like to thank her for expanding the teacher network and forever expanding the idea of teacher advocacy in North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and help me welcome to the podium our current Burroughs Wellcome Fund North Carolina Teacher of the Year, Ms. Mariah Morris.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Good afternoon. Wow. How crazy is it to see people in real life? I feel like I have so much power right now because you can't mute me. And you can't turn the screen off. This is awesome. I am so honored and humbled to stand before this next amazing cohort. You all are such amazing educators, and I have heard about you from my Teacher of the Year cohort who helped interview you long before I ever announced you or met you. Y'all are an amazing, dynamic group, and I cannot wait to see what this year holds for all of you. So when I talked to Dr. Brown about what the purpose of my remarks was today, she told me to give a highlight of my year. And I started digging and thinking about my year and what a year it has been. Never in my wildest dreams last April when I sat inside the ballroom would I have thought that education and our society would have undergone such pronounced, deep changes that have affected our students and our teachers and our citizens across this state. And so in reflecting on that, I think about what this new cohort, your mission and your job is this year. So here we have a picture. Ocracoke was where my year began with my cohort. And my year has traveled from coast to mountains and seeing all of the amazing schools in between. I see some of y'all's faces right now. Yes, y'all are next. When I thought about what symbolized being announced Teacher of the Year and what a good symbol for my year was, I kept coming back to this moment. One of the first things I did as Teacher of the Year was board an airplane, sign a consent form, don't know why I did that, and jump out of a perfectly good, operable airplane with my cohort. But what a metaphor for what this year has been. And I chose this particular picture. I don't know if you can see with the glare, but you can see the airplane up there. And to me, that just symbolizes the safety net that I leapt out of when I was announced Teacher of the Year. That airplane is my classroom, and it's everything I knew to be true in education. And as I walked up with the Golden Knight strapped to me, to the door, and I really didn't have a choice because he said 1, 2, and he leapt. He didn't wait for a 3. My whole world changed. And that is what this leap has been for me and for my cohort and for all the teachers and my friends in this network of this year. And as I began my Teacher of the Year team, I wanted to travel the state. I knew we have over 15 million students. We have over 100,000 teachers. We have over 100 counties. But when it all came down to it, we had one mission, one vision, and one passion. And I saw that in every classroom I went to. Educators across this state seek out each day to build equitable and engaging learning environments for each and every student across our state. We use the resources we have, we use the resources we don't have and we wish we had, and we educate our children. And I saw through the countless classrooms I went into, our teachers are strong. They are passionate. They are resilient. They are innovative. They are leaders. And they are united in this mission to educate. times have changed, but the mission has not. And that is to make sure that each and every child has a true shot at writing their own personal destinies, despite the circumstances that they are born into. And I have to admit, when I was on that airplane by myself with a whole host of Golden Knights, I felt a little bit alone. And that's the same thing when I was announced Teacher of the Year and I walked up and got my award from Mark Johnson. I thought, for the first time, I'm by myself. I don't have coworkers riding with me in the car. I don't have colleagues riding with me and going into a classroom, into faculty meetings. And in that place, it took me a while to realize that no, I'm not alone, because I am a part of every classroom and every story that I have heard or been to see. I'm a part of every teacher who has shared their story with me and every student who has reached out to me to share their story. And I want you guys to understand that today you are becoming a part of a network. And this network is going to feel lonesome right at the beginning. But then you're going to see something happen. And this metaphor of jumping out of an airplane is going to come up because this is me feeling by myself. But you know what happened? I didn't know this until I landed and my husband told me. And then I dug through some photos. And the photo to your left is a real picture that the photographer took moments before I jumped out of the airplane. But I didn't know that was happening because I was dry heaving in the corner of the airplane. I was not by myself. A whole team of Golden Knights jumped out and linked arms and did a formation together. And the picture on the right is a stock photo of what that formation looks like. And then when I jumped out, they designed it, my husband told me, so that it looked like I was right in the center. And what a metaphor that is. Because throughout this year, I have linked hands with people who will be part of my life forever and who stand strong in being part of this mission that we call NC Ed. It started with my cohort. It's crazy to think I didn't know them 2 years ago, and now they are not my friends, they are my family. And we will be bonded for the rest of our lives. And this cohort has collectively advanced a mission of teacher advocacy, of equity, and of finding our voice so that all teachers are represented across our state. This mission involved all of the people who stood with me to advocate on the state board and at DPI. It began with Dr. Martin, who took me under her wing and taught me everything I needed to know about the inner workings of what I would need to be successful. It started with getting to know our principals of the year, who stayed with me the whole year on the state board and pushed me to use my voice when I wasn't sure if I could. To Jabari Wallace and Matt Bristow-Smith, thank you for being a constant mentor and a constant friend and a constant guiding light in my journey of using my voice. My network was strong with everyone at DPI, from the regional education facilitators all the way up to Mark Johnson and his senior leadership. They have welcomed me with open arms, and they have taken me and let me find my place as Teacher of the Year. It's with our two servant leaders, otherwise known as our Deputy State Superintendents. Dr. Emery, over here on the left, showing her true servant leadership at No Kid Hungry. She has a million things to do, a million people to answer to, and I'm sure a billion emails to respond to per hour. But yet she knows missions like No Kid Hungry are important. It's Dr. Stegall. This is one of my favorite pictures of him. He was always up for going to visit schools. I would ask, hey, do you want to go see some schools in Durham? The answer would be yes, and we would go see schools. And I had a lot of professional photos with him, but look at this picture, crouched under a red dinosaur. supporting moving the needle with equity in STEM education with the launch of the IMCS campaign under Dr. Hemphill. That is servant leadership, seeing the vision and being there to support it. I am also linked with Burroughs Wellcome Fund as one of the other Golden Knights linking arms in the formation. When I was first named Regional Teacher of the Year, as all of you were, we had to learn how to say our title, and I wrote it down, Burroughs Wellcome. Okay, welcome 2 L's. Okay, got it. And I remember the first time I had to announce myself, I was like sweating, Mariah Morris, Burroughs Wellcome. Okay, and at that point, it was the sponsor, and that's what they meant to me, but not anymore. Burroughs Wellcome Fund has such a special place in my journey. They are not just the financial supporters of this program. They have provided me emotional support. Dr. Houston and Mr. Mays, who are here, they have been little angels cheering me on throughout this process, helping me find my voice, supporting that voice. One of my first meetings was with Dr. Houston, and he gave me a little globe that represented his science center through Burroughs Wellcome Fund. And he said, one day you're going to have an office, and I want you to put this on your desk. Well, our relationship, along with Mr. Mays, has continued throughout the year as we are passionate advocates for moving the needle with equity in STEM education, and we have combined forces to really advance that vision. And lo and behold, last week, when I was packing up all my belongings to go to my very first office, the second thing I packed after pictures of my own family was that little globe Dr. Houston gave me so I wouldn't forget it. And when I arrived to my office, that was one of the first pieces of decor I proudly put on my desk so that everyone who walks in there understands that I'm connected to this mission of making sure that each child has an opportunity to see themselves in STEM education, whether they are in rural or urban North Carolina, whether they are from a family of poverty or an underprivileged background that does not typically excel in STEM education. And so thank you, Burroughs Wellcome Fund, for being part of that link of that chain. It is through meeting people along the way who is just uncanny how you share vision with. Mary Hemphill from DPI, who started the IMCS campaign shortly after I arrived to the Teacher of the Year role. And I was able to help her advance this mission and work with these phenomenal women across the state so that we could let girls see themselves in computer science. What a wonderful mission, especially in today's age where we are moving more and more to remote with COVID. Part of my link in the chain is also all of the outstanding public officials who I have met. Governor Cooper, who constantly looks for the teacher voice and constantly is concerned about the teacher experience, not paying lip service, but truly believing in our public education and in our voices as educators. It's also those moments where you have to pinch yourselves because you make connections and are able to meet people who you have looked up to for many years, like Reverend Barber at the NC Awards, our First Lady Cooper at a reading program for children, or also meeting our National Teacher of the Year, Rodney Robinson. Other links of my chain included people that I was able to visit and tell them how they impacted my story as a child. It's when I gave a keynote and I was invited by my very own 8th grade teacher, Beth Cross, who now works at DPI. And I was able to stand there and embarrass her and put a yearbook picture up of her and explain how it was teachers like Miss Cross who made that impact with me. It was visiting schools where I could stand next to pieces of art that I helped create. And then I could say, you helped form this vision of education. And it's also running into people at High Point University, like this picture that shows someone who taught me how STEM operated. And I stand here as an advocate for STEM, but it's because of one professional development that changed my thinking, one workshop, a one-day experience with Shirley at High Point University, and she happened to be at a keynote. And I said, everything I just talked about, you started me thinking along these lines. What a beautiful moment of full circle to come back together. and meeting other teachers and college professors that made an impact, seeing old college friends, and visiting people along the way to share how their impact became my impact, which is now impacting others. And that is the power of North Carolina education. And probably the most important link of the chain, these people at home right now. My husband, who is an amazing educator himself, who has been my rock and my stability this year. I hope you all have someone in your corners cheering you on like I do my husband, who whenever I wasn't sure and whenever I didn't know if I should do something, leaned over and whispered to me, "Lean in. Those two girls are watching you. They need to see a strong mother, and they need you to speak for their teachers so that they have a powerful experience in education." And hopefully they're watching at home, but Austin, thank you for everything that you have done for me this year. And now seasons are changing, and it's time for me to pass the baton. And it's time for my cohort to pass the baton to this amazing group of 9 educators. And I have a few pieces of advice for you as I conclude. The first one is never forget, this is one of my favorite quotes, that a small group of committed citizens can, in fact, change the world. And what a dynamic time to be Teacher of the Year. We are living in the midst of change and turmoil and new possibilities, positive and negative, yin and yang, and we need your voice to swing us to the positive. When you're handed a microphone this year, and you'll be handed a microphone a lot, I want you to remember you've been handed a microphone not to speak for you, not even to speak for your cohort, but to advance what is right in this world. And as this Martin Luther King quote shows, our lives end when we begin to be silent about the things that matter. And you have been handed a microphone and will throughout the course of this year, and use it wisely. And let it be about something bigger than you. And how does that happen? You go back to my original metaphor of jumping out of that airplane. We didn't just jump out of an airplane. I don't know if anyone remembers. We jumped for a cause. Each of us selected a cause to highlight, and we collectively had t-shirts made, and we advanced things that were important to us. And that is an example of how you don't just stand up to speak, but you speak for something. And if I remember back, I think what I was jumping for is more important than ever, and that is for the state of North Carolina to fully commit to fund our schools. That is what I stood up there, and that is why I jumped out of a perfectly good airplane, to help North Carolina make that leap to fully fund our schools. Because you see, when you're standing up here talking, you're not just talking for you or those 100,000 teachers, but you're talking for all of those future educators, all of those students who are in colleges and schools and lateral entry programs, because they might want to be a teacher one day. And there's something inside of them, a stirring, that just might make them want to take that leap. And that is the generation that you're speaking for as a teacher. And you are speaking for all of the educators. You can blur out their faces, but they all stand for the same thing. It's that one mission and one vision to provide equitable and engaging learning environments for each and every child of our state. And now you are all connected to a legacy and a group of Teachers of the Year. From Freebird to Lisa to Darcy to all of the past Teachers of the Year. We are in your corner, and each of those people on that screen has helped me throughout this year. We will take you under our wing. We will help you when times get tough, and know that you are part of something bigger in this role. And so as I finish up, with this presentation. I'm going to show you a picture. I didn't just grab this from the internet. This was hanging on this huge brick wall in a rural high school in Edgecombe County, high poverty, but high growth school. And this quote, "Wherever you go, go with your heart." And you're going to travel many, many miles this year. With COVID, it might be many miles on Zoom, but you're going to connect with many people across this state. And you go forward with your heart and lead with what you know to be true. Y'all are ready. Y'all are itching for it. I can feel it. And I'm so proud of each and every one of you. Thank you.
Let's give it up again for Mariah Morris. Now it's time to introduce to the world our 9 finalists and subsequently to name the new 2020 Teacher of the Year. These amazing teachers represent all of North Carolina in grand style. This program follows under the leadership of Dr. Beverly Emery, Deputy State Superintendent of District Support for the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. And she wants to say a few words to you, and then you will meet these 9 finalists. After the 2 video presentations, Dr. Cynthia Martin will come back with Superintendent Mark Johnson to formally announce our regional finalists of the year and the 2020 winner.
Greetings to all of you who are finalists for the 2020 Burroughs Wellcome Teacher of the Year. I'm Bev Emery, your Deputy Superintendent, and I wish that I could be with you today. This is one of the most joyful days in our organization, and we have had to figure it out in a new way today. So I'm glad that you are there and you are being celebrated. I look forward to the incredible things that this cohort of Teacher of the Year finalists will do, given the unprecedented circumstances that we find ourselves in. You represent the best of us, and we are very proud of you. So congratulations to all of you on this amazing honor.
I am somebody.
I am somebody.
I was somebody when I came.
I was somebody when I came.
I'll be a better somebody when I leave.
I love using restorative practices and social emotional learning to make sure that my students are connecting their social needs with their learning needs. I use personalized education plans for each child in my classroom. One-on-one we conference and we discuss their behavioral needs and their learning needs. I need to know their data story. That's my job as a teacher. But I also need to know their life story. What are their experiences? And then I need to know their behavior story. How do they respond to those experiences? So using those 3 aspects of their lives, I'm able to personalize and make learning more impactful. In my classroom, we say you have to make 5 mistakes a day. How many mistakes have you made today?
I made 2.
Very good. I also believe that we must bring joy in learning. Joy, fun, activities, experiential learning. That's what true, authentic learning is about. To a new teacher starting in this profession, I would say, bring love. Let's start there.
My favorite quote is that our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our lightness and not our darkness that most frightens us. And to me, that quote means the things that really make us great are the things that scare us the most. And a lot of times my students I'll recognize in my class when they have to do something like a solo, or if they are asked to step into the light, they recognize it's a very scary and uncomfortable place to be. And as an educator, I feel that it's my job to show them that that's what they really fear, is the greatness that's within them, and to show them that they can be so much more than they even thought that they could achieve. When I was going through high school, the very classes that I'm currently teaching are the ones where I felt the most myself, where I felt the most natural and I felt where I belonged. When I was 17 years old, sitting in my band room, My two goals were that I wanted to change the world and I wanted to change lives. I felt that teaching would be the only career that I could do both at the same time. And then as a teacher, I truly believe that that is our goal, is to show our students the gifts that they have and how they can use those gifts to change the world.
My classroom is a classroom of kindergarten, first, second, and third grade adaptive students with high special needs, from the need to understand that communication is happening around them, to actually learning to read and do math and experience some real academic successes. I have some students who have been in the general ed classroom and also in the adaptive classroom. I need to provide the support for that teacher in the general ed classroom that will make my student successful there. So from bell to bell, we are working with them. We are talking with them. We are moving them ahead in gaining the skills that they need to have. I think we need to look at our students as the individuals with great value and great worth and the potential that they have. We need to look at them with wonder what it's going to be like for them. I wonder what their potential will be. I wonder what difference I can make in their life. I want to build strong children. That's our business, that's our calling, that really is our passion, and that really is our joy.
I began my career not as a teacher, but as an intelligence officer in the Air Force. So I think that that model is pretty legit for how clouds really look, right? It looks good. I'm kind of the Miss Frizzle of the high school classroom because I just love to teach and I love to find cool ways for my kids to learn. But I also love to dive down deep into what they understand and find the places where they need some help. Yeah, so just come in and see me tomorrow morning and I'll help you out with that, okay? Every single kid in my classroom has the potential to be a rocket scientist. It's my responsibility to figure out how to get them there. When you have your AB blood and you add A and you add B, see what happens. Each one of my students is unique. Each one of my students is different. Each one of my students needs something a little bit different from me every day. I'm a firm believer that a growth mindset in classrooms is a very, very important thing to help our students truly be able to grow and maximize their potential. Growth mindset does not just refer to your students, it also refers to you. I spend quite a bit of time outside of school to try to make sure I have maximized everything I can possibly do to help every single one of my students be the absolute best that they can be when they leave my classroom.
NIA, which means what? Purpose. What is your purpose? I know my purpose is teaching. I think through music education, you can explore so many different areas, history, math, science, and it can be the springboard for a student to find their purpose. I get to use my medium to integrate with other subject areas so students have a broader idea of how music serves culture. It's a snapshot in time and culture, and it's also a definition of the culture at the time. In music, every voice is heard, and it should be heard. If you mess up, it's okay. It's the not trying that's the failure. It teaches resilience, and I believe that students need to learn resilience and commitment. I want to leave a legacy of learning, and I believe that through the right techniques and best practices, education is a bootstrap. Maybe if I give them that bootstrap, they'll be able to wear those boots well and walk into the future, into their purpose.
I believe that education is a calling. I believe that education chose me. I did not choose it. As a young kid growing up in poverty, as a dyslexic kid, education was the thing that continued to raise me and change me and help me become who I am. It helps to make you. It doesn't define you. Oftentimes, there's a greatness in students that they're not aware of. We see it as educators, and it's our job to awaken and inspire the greatness that a student has. We educate the potential of a student because a student can learn. If they're inspired, they can learn, and they will always blow us away by what they learn if they're inspired. I think education should be always personalized for children, finding out who kids are, where they come from. When you grow up on the streets of New York and without a father, and you're exposed to all those things, and then you can still become successful, find out their cultural background and help them understand their cultural background, and then use that platform to build education upon. That, to me, that's the way education ought to be done.
I became a teacher to make a difference. And so I want to inspire my students to also do the same. I am fortunate enough to teach at the same elementary school that I attended. So my 5th grade teacher that is just right next door from my classroom now was my inspiration. She made learning feel like it was just a gift. And that's when I saw like, I want to also be able to do that for students. And I want to be able to inspire kids to love learning for their whole lives. And so Piney Creek is just a really special place. It's a community, it's a family, it's a great place to be. So is it comparing and contrasting those cars, or is it just telling you about them?
About them.
Okay, so what is it when we're just telling about something?
Description.
Description. See, you used all of your clues and you found it. Great job. If we can create a place here for them where they know that they can impact change and have voice, then we can use education to propel them forward in a way that they can stay here and improve our community, or also feel like they can go out into the world and create change in other places.
In order to make sure people understand who our students are, I need to say that we are an alternative school, but we are also a community school. Any student can come here who wants to. But some students are asked to come here because they simply cannot function in a regular classroom because their lives are far too difficult. I think it's also important that people know that those of us who are here because we choose to be. But at this point in my career, I want to work with students who are in most need of someone who is entirely passionate about them and who they are and what they can do for the world. And so that is what this school is about. It is about bringing in students who may not have another good place to go and making them feel welcome and making them feel comfortable, and then saying, what can we do for you? How can I serve you? How can I allow you to give the world what you have to give? And once you've answered those questions, then you can do things like we've done with the grants, where you provide coffee because so many of our students don't get sleep because they're in situations where either they don't have a bed, or the family is too noisy, or there are people coming and going all night, so they don't sleep, so they come in and they're tired. And they sometimes come in hungry, so we give them food. So we personalize by taking care of their physical needs. And I think that this school is a place where so many people's passion meets the world's great need.
Students have the capability to learn. They have a natural curiosity for learning. I just have to find what that is. I have to build that relationship with my students. That relationship is what makes that student develop confidence in themselves to know that they can be successful. It's my job and my desire to find out what motivates each one of my students, to remind them that learning can be fun and engaging and interesting. And I want them each day when they spend that hour in my classroom to come in excited about whatever we're going to do today, to go home talking about it, to remember that once upon a time they really loved learning. I want them to enjoy their learning process and become partners in it with me. You knew number sense that that's not possible, so you were able to go back and fix it. That's good. You caught the mistake. Good job. I want them working toward personal growth. They have so many abilities. So often I need to provide the spark. I need to capture the interest and maybe provide a little bit of the framework, and then I need to get out of their way, because what they can create and what they can develop together is really quite incredible, and I am amazed every year at what they're able to do.
I believe that collaboration is the key to student success.
I believe that education truly can be the way that everyone has the best opportunities in life. I believe that all children have the capability to learn and to be excited about learning.
I believe as educators, we're built to champion our students.
I believe that our students are the future.
I believe in the potential of every single student.
All students can learn.
I believe that the public school classroom is the last bastion of democracy.
I believe we have to inspire potential, we have to educate greatness, and we have to love our students in the meantime.
Our theme for the TOY ceremony is a showcase of excellent educators, and that video shows you not only their passion for their profession, but their passion for children. So if the state superintendent will join me on his mark, he will be presenting you your certificate, and I will be introducing you to all that are viewing. First, I'm going to start out presenting Miss Ginny Owens, the Northeast Region Teacher of the Year from Ocracoke School in Hyde County. Ginny, please come forward. Okay, if you... Next, presenting Daniel Scott, the Southeast Region Teacher of the Year from Swainsboro High School in Onslow County. Daniel, please come forward. Next, presenting Carol Forrest, the North Central Region Teacher of the Year from Long Mill Elementary School in Franklin County. Carol, please come forward. Next, we have Miss Maureen Stover from the Sandhills Region Teacher of the Year from Cumberland International Early College High School in Cumberland County. Next, presenting Miss Tanya Smith, Piedmont Triad Region Teacher of the Year from Elkin High School and Elkin City Schools. Tanya, please come forward. Next, we have Mr. Chad Beam, the Southwest Region Teacher of the Year from Burns High School in Cleveland County. Chad, please come forward. Next, we have Miss Maggie Murphy, the Northwest Region Teacher of the Year from Piney Creek School in Allegheny County. Maggie? Next, we have Don Gilchrist, our Western Region Teacher of the Year from the School of Alternatives in Jackson County. Don, please come forward. Last but certainly not least, presenting Miss Ashley Bailey, the Charter Schools Teacher of the Year from Roxborough Community Charter, located in Roxborough, North Carolina. Ashley. At this time, I am going to turn it over to our state superintendent for the big reveal.
Thank you, Dr. Martin, and thank you to everyone who made this possible today. Truly, this is a great thing that we were able to celebrate. I can tell you I never prepare remarks for this part of the ceremony because I keep them brief. Anyone who's been to this in the past can tell you. I keep them sincere, and I can tell you every day we have something new we find out about how different life is going to be with this COVID-19. And anyone else who's been at this in the past knows that I like to shake hands, I like to give hugs, and I can tell you I was not prepared for not being able to do that for each and every one of you. And I think for me personally, that is quite another moment that I am having, that I know each and every one of you are having every day or now every week, where we realize just how difficult this is going to be. But that's why we're so lucky to have each and every one of you. We've been through so much this year, and this is still the United States of America. This is still the only country to have a dream named after it. No matter what zip code you live in, no matter what part of North Carolina, whether you're at the beaches on an island or by the waterfalls in the mountains or in between rural or urban, every single student has the privilege to a right of an education, should and must have the opportunity to go to school, work hard, and succeed. You and your fellow educators make that happen. And we are so grateful for each and every one of you. And I am grateful for the team at DPI, for the leadership at DPI. I am grateful that with the vision of Dr. Martin and the team and Bev Emery and Dr. Maria Petrie-Martin, who helped get it started, and the Teacher of the Year cohorts, we have taken this from a one-day ceremony to truly taking this as a cohort. And each and every one of you will go to your regions, and you will each, in your role, help the state of North Carolina get through this. And that is not just lip service. We have seen it from last year's teacher cohort, each and every one of you. And this moment is always bittersweet for me because each and every one of you deserves this recognition. And we all know there are lots of teachers out across North Carolina that deserve this recognition. And each year the process brings one person to the title. But I never say the winner is, because it's truly just the person who is named this year's Teacher of the Year. In North Carolina, we have a saying. We say that we are where the weak grow strong and the strong grow great. And my goodness, we need you all to help us prove that this year more than ever before. It has been my honor and privilege to serve as the state superintendent, and that is only because I get to serve each and every one of you and the constituents of the state. And we will get through this. We will get through this together, and we'll get through it stronger. Thank you to our sponsors, especially the Burroughs Wellcome Fund. Thank you for DPI for helping to make this event possible. I will now go through the formal announcement of this year's Teacher of the Year. As is tradition, started long before me, I start to read, and the closer we get to the announcement, the person will probably realize who it is. This year's North Carolina Teacher of the Year. This person takes on a humanistic approach to teaching and believes in building a classroom community that is supportive of students' diversity. This person believes it is important for students to see teachers actively engaged in the community, participating in service-related activities and sharing them in the classroom. This teacher developed a series of professional development lessons to help teachers understand how to use EVOS to access projection data, how to collect data from a variety of artifacts to accurately assess students' mastery of the standards and objectives, and also methods to personalize education to meet each student's unique needs. This teacher has the unique experience of teaching at a high school level while in a college environment, which allows for a keen perspective on the school to college transition. Our next North Carolina Teacher of the Year platform will highlight the importance of assisting teachers in working with the Social Emotional Learning Initiative that focuses on educating the whole child by promoting students' self-awareness, self-management, self-awareness again, and responsible decision-making skills, which helps to improve student attitudes and beliefs about self, others, and school. Please join me in welcoming, for the first time ever, the 2020 Burroughs Wellcome Fund North Carolina Teacher of the Year, Miss Maureen Stover from Cumberland International Early College High School.
And thank you, Tanya, for convincing me to write a speech. Thank you, Superintendent Johnson, the State Board of Education, Dr. Brown and Dr. Martin, and the incredible team at the Department of Public Instruction, and all the sponsors of the North Carolina Teacher of the Year program. I am beyond honored and humbled to be named as the 2020 Burroughs Wellcome Fund North Carolina Teacher of the Year. In the Japanese culture, there is a concept called ikiga. The literal translation means life's purpose, but the true meaning is what makes one's life worthwhile and what gives it meaning. For me, my students are my ikiga. I am honored to be recognized for my passion and for the opportunity to share this passion with others in my new role. I am grateful to my principal, Ms. Ford, and my superintendent, Dr. Conley, for their leadership and for trusting in me and giving me the autonomy to use creative and innovative methods to teach each of my students in the way that works best for each one of them. A huge thanks to my husband, who has been my anchor and my support throughout my teaching career. And while I know you will never understand how my students can possibly go through 100 glue sticks in a month, I appreciate that you never got mad when another box of school supplies showed up on our porch. To my boys, thank you for graciously sharing me with my students. To my mom and dad, thank you for encouraging me to always follow my dreams and for your unwavering support in each of my endeavors. But most importantly, thank you to my students, who are my motivation, my inspiration, and the reason why I love to come to school every day. I am a great teacher because I have amazing kids. So much has changed in our world over the past few months, but one thing that has not changed is that North Carolina has amazing and incredible students who deserve an equitable and high-quality education. I am incredibly proud of how our classified and certified staff stepped up to the challenge of transitioning to remote instruction. I am incredibly proud of how our kids continue to learn from home. We demonstrated the best parts of education. As an educator, I don't see problems, but rather I see opportunities for solution. I am humbled to be a teacher leader as we continue to find creative ways to improve the educational opportunities for every child in North Carolina, regardless of their zip code. I am excited to be part of the solution as we implement the recommendations of the Leandro Report in our public schools. And I look forward to continuing to prioritize the social emotional learning needs of all of our students. But this is not something that I will do alone. I am part of a team, and our team is diverse. We are 9 educators who represent all 8 regions of our state, from the mountains to the sea. We represent traditional and charter schools, elementary and secondary levels, and every content area, including band and chorus. We represent teachers teaching honors and exceptional students. We are multicultural with different backgrounds and experiences, but it is this diversity which is our strength. It provides us with the opportunity to develop solutions from multiple viewpoints and perspectives, and that is how we will improve education for North Carolina students while supporting North Carolina's educators. Empowerment comes from the voice of one. Miracles come from the voice of many. So it is my privilege to present to you the 2020 Burroughs Wellcome Fund Regional Teacher of the Year team. Thank you so much for entrusting me as the leader of this incredible group. I am excited to work with this team to be the light for education in North Carolina. Thank you.
Congratulations, Maureen Stover. Congratulations, Maureen, and we look forward to supporting you during your year representing North Carolina teachers. Congratulations. Well, it has been my honor to host and organize this year's North Carolina Teacher of the Year ceremony. The success of today was made possible by many dedicated individuals. Thanks to the families and support system for all of our finalists. The adventure for the 2020 toy cohort is just beginning. Many thanks to the regional education facilitators, Tina Starr, the project lead, and the State Recognition Committee. Thank you for the many hours of planning, yes, to make this day special for our finalists. To the District and Regional Support and Communications and Graphics Division, the Office of Charter Schools, and the DPI leadership, thank you for your role in making this day a success. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and we look forward to seeing you again next year.